Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU. Welcome to Endless Legend and the newest patch that has just been released, adding several bug fixes, game improvements, AI enhancements, and this new main menu splash screen, which made it perfect for me to try out and create a new playthrough that many people have been asking me to do, which unfortunately isn't reflected too well by this new splash screen, which is dedicated to the voters, so let's switch up to the correct one. This feels more like it, wouldn't you say? Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the Broken Lords playthrough, something that I have been requested to do again for a very long time. I have already covered Broken Lords all the way back when this game was still in alpha. And many people have been asking me if that playthrough is still valid, in which case my answer is no, it is not. And many people have also been requesting me to redo the entire playthrough. And I always replied that yes, that is what I'm planning to do. Broken Lords do deserve a new playthrough the most because of how they have changed. And now that Endless Legend has been released and also recently patched, I think it's about time. Now, to be entirely fair, the newest patch doesn't change much for the Broken Lords. It does mess with the stats of a few of the units, but not in a major way. However, still, I do want to show you my tactics for beating the AI on Endless. In fact, surprisingly even to me, right now Broken Lords are my second easiest faction to win against the Endless AI. The only faction I can think of that I have an easier time winning than Broken Lords are the other mages, and that's potentially because I'm biased because I play the most as other mages and they're my favorite faction in the game. But Broken Lords nowadays are extraordinarily powerful, very easy to play, and have almost endless potential, and I'll show you exactly how you can devastate the AI in the following playthrough. Before we move on, however, standard caveat applies. We need to set up the war generation. Let's play with 7 empires. That's a nice decent number, good enough for normal size world. Or actually, let's just be conservative. Let's play with the recommended settings and see how far we can get with that. So any advanced settings that I'll be enabling, no. Score victory is disabled, everything else is enabled. Speed scale factor obviously is going to stay on very fast. As for other settings, world shape is going to be custom, continent shape is going to be chaotic because I found lacking in that. Temperature is temperate. Now I, in particular, do not want to mess with this setting because Broken Lords, more so than other factions, are very vulnerable to those changes. If you set it to desert, you're gonna have a very easy time as Broken Lords because there will be a lot of dust, and Broken Lords, for those of you who do not remember, are the kind of faction that operates with dust. We do not eat food, we eat dust. That's what fuels our energy. On the other hand, if we play with Arctic setting, well, we'll have almost no dust whatsoever, only science. Not ideal. Now, I could play with Arctic just to demonstrate that it is still possible to win on Arctic setting, but knowing my luck, I'll generate in a desert regardless. So whatever, let's just go with the temperate. This seems like a neutral option, and you will see that my tactics should work regardless of the area you spawn in. Let's go into advanced settings for a moment and see what I set up. Number of continents is 1, 2, 3, everything else is pretty much random. I did set the luxury strategic resources down to rare. I do like it when it's at this setting because it makes it more important to grab the regions in which said resources exist. It makes those regions more important and adds a little bit more tension. Anomaly odds left to normal because I do like to see some of those anomalies. Minor faction difficulty hard because AI has been improved and I trust it will be able to hard minor factions on hard difficulty. Now, this has not always been my experience with the VIP tests, but I cannot discuss those, so I'm not going to say what happened in there. Besides, this isn't exactly the same version as the one I have seen. Things have been changed and improved and so on and so forth. What I can say that has been changed in this version of the game compared to the one you were playing previously is that the AI is smarter when it comes to military. AI knows how to fight better. It has better overall military strategy, it knows how to defend its capital, and on the battlefield it also makes smarter decisions. So we are, in technically speaking, going to have a harder time, but practically I'm going to show you that I can dominate the AI. How? Just wait for a second as the map generates, and I will show you. Alright, the map has just been generated, and as you can see, we are both lucky and unlucky at the same time, because we did not spawn in a desert, but again, that's pure luck. Broccolons obviously love it when you spawn in a desert, because desert gives you a lot of dust and usually quite a bit of industry and maybe science as well. Not a lot of food, but obviously we don't care too much about food. That said, we spawn in a cold region that also gives us quite a bit of dust. The field is notorious for giving quite a bit of this resource, and we've got some taiga nearby as well. Taiga is not ideal because it mostly gives you industry and a bit of food. Food we cannot use, but industry is actually fairly important, and I'm fairly happy to have at least a little bit of it. Where do I want to settle right now? Well, there's only one anomaly nearby, it's black dust. It's not a very good anomaly, but it's at the very least something, I guess. Although I'd love to have approval generating anomaly. Still, you can't always have what you want. So what am I going to do is actually going to do one thing. Firstly, move the settler to this town, because no matter what, I'm most likely going to settle next to this anomaly somewhere. So what do I see? I can see that there is indeed a ruin right over here. I can recognize it by the sun rays. I can see that there's a new region nearby, which doesn't look to be interesting in any way. So where I can go right now? I can go ahead and colonize this dust deposit. This would spawn me quite far away from the anomaly, but I would have instant access to dice, so as soon as I have the technology, I would start gathering them. That's very nice. The location is not that bad, it's very easy to defend a city over here. It's surrounded by an okay amount of industry and an okay amount of dust and a little bit of science. Overall, not a very good area, but not a very bad one either. Here, however, I get a bit more industry, and dust-wise I'm fairly similar-ish. I'm not doing the exact math because I'm too lazy and we don't have the time for that. And science-wise, it's also fairly similar. I think I'm gonna go over there purely because of the dye deposit. First things first, it is important to scout at least a little bit. You never know what you're gonna find, and I found an earth spine. Usually this would mean that I need to make a beeline for it, but this earth spine unfortunately has no industry around it whatsoever, meaning that it is worthless for me. I need a lot of industry as the broken lot, because you may have guessed it already or not. However, this reflects on my playstyle as a player, and this also reflects on what I believe the broken lot's playstyle should be. And that is the fact that I'm going to try and achieve a warmonger victory. Either an elimination victory or a domination victory. Which means that you either snipe all the capitals in the game, or you conquer all of the enemy cities and kill the enemies. I'm going to try to go for one of those, because broken lots, in my opinion, are kinda amazing when going for those victory conditions right now. This is a bit annoying. This area has a lot of anomalies, as you can see, some water as well, which is great, but without industry I would lose miserably. And I do need this industry quite badly, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a city right on top of the dye deposit. So let's go ahead and move my settlers over there, settle right away, and there is my first city. Now, what am I going to do? Well, firstly I will need to explore this entire region, which is really quite big when I look at it. Hopefully it's not too big, but actually the bigger the better. You want your starting region to be big, because you want there to be roads. Why do you want there to be roads? Because of my particular style of winning the game as broken lots, but I will get to that. Firstly, what do I do with this newly settled city? I mean, it is a city we have, we deserve to do something in it, or rather we need to, rather than we deserve. So what do I need to do? Well, obviously queue up empowerment and Founders Memorial. Like you know, if you have watched my previous playthrough, it is what you need to do. You need to get empowerment as soon as possible, but unlike what you have seen from me in the past, you don't actually, you know, keep your one population on industry and keep walking it and then buy out this thing as soon as you can. Instead, you buy out population increase as soon as you can. And when you can, you buy it out again, because by the end of the day you might be able to get empowerment as quickly as you would have gotten it if you just kept on walking industry and bought out the empowerment. But additionally, what you get is more population that is already working for you, and giving you more fitzy generation, which is fairly important, fairly great, and why I prefer this build order in this particular patch more than the build order I used in the alpha days. Obviously alpha has been a very long time ago, so I had to change some things around. And that's what exactly I changed. In research tree, no Holy Trinity for you, you might be surprised. Yes, we do start from Mill Foundry. In fact, Mill Foundry will be absolutely essential for my strategy, because without it I will not be able to dominate the AI, and this is exactly what I need to do. I need to overpower the AI with a very big amount of units that are otherwise fairly weak. However, swarms is what I need. So Mill Foundry is a must first research, as it always is. But usually you would guess, if you watch any of my other videos, that the next thing to follow will be public library. No, the next thing to follow will in fact be the language square, then followed by public library. Several reasons for that. Language square is very important for us, especially as broker lords. I need to be able to talk to those guys like the Guaran over here and other people as quickly as possible, because I need to get quests. Hopefully for dust, hopefully for better equipment, although I don't care about equipment with my playstyle, I'll show you why later. But like better technology, better anything really, is always a good thing. And it's better to pacify the villages in such a way than to attack them, because attacking them is a pretty big mistake as broker lords. Why? Well, it's fairly simple. If you attack something, you're probably going to get damaged. Broker lords do not heal their units over time, you have to pay dust in order to heal your units, which is a very powerful ability, but at the same time it does require you to try and limit the amount of damage you take, because this is directly reflected on your treasury. So I need to discover some ruins with a broken hero army. Okay, seems easy enough. I'm going to go in this direction, but this is actually a really nice quest for me right now. Why? It has revealed that there is no AI occupying the region around this area. That's very important, this is what I needed to know. Is this region the same region as this one on the top? No, it's not. So I know there's no AI around this part. Good to know, I'll go ahead and explore in the east. Why? Because I need to find an AI as quickly as possible, preferably an AI that is close to me, and attack it ASAP. By 10:30, I want this AI to be dead. And I do mean that. Dead as in gone, like not in the game anymore, absolutely destroyed, nothing left of him whatsoever. I will grab this ruin before I head down east though, because I can wait with that, but it is very important. With the little strategy I have going for as broker lords is, I forgot to buy out population. I didn't have enough dust, I think. I could have had enough dust, maybe. Mistakes happen, I wanted to rush things when recording. Well, that's too bad, I guess. I could have had the empowerment on the previous 10, well, just I have to bear with it. It does happen. It's a pretty big annoyance, but, you know, yeah, it's a pretty big mistake. Happens. You shouldn't let it happen to you, though. Buy out new population as soon as you can, and you will prosper. Regardless, 30 dust. Not very bad at all. I will discover a little bit of this terrain and territory, and as you can see, it's going to pay by itself already by giving me access to temple ruins. Pretty great, all things considered. Let's go ahead and end this turn again, and then I'll start heading down east and then south all the way to the ruins that my main quest tells me to explore. Firstly though, my hero is going to be leveled up. I will level my hero up as it is, as if he was a governor, because later on I will use him as a governor. Right now he's my general only because I don't have any other option, I don't have anybody else that I can buy, I have no access to marketplace, and even when I do, I will need this guy leading my armies for quite some time. When I attack my first enemy AI city, I'll need at the very least 2, preferably 3, armies filled with stalwarts, and 2 of those armies need to be led by a hero. It is doable, fairly early on in fact, but you need to work hard for it. So I will need to have this hero as my army general, but because I will later reassign him as a governor, because he's got dust efficiency, which makes him a good governor, I will later on reassign him to a city, because he will be simply better at that. So what I can do now is buy out the mill foundry, or I can buy out more population to get other things faster. I'll buy out more population. A single turn of mill foundry will not save you, however this population you will need quite desperately, and it will save you a bit of time on the next structures. Obviously having mill foundry faster will indeed allow you to get Founders Memorial also a lot faster. However, keep in mind, if I had not forgotten to buy out the population on the 10-2, I would have probably gotten some work done on Mill Foundry already, and as a result, maybe buying out this population would have meant that I would be able to complete it in a single turn rather than in 2 turns. It also depends on where you start and whatnot. However, generally, it is a better idea to just try to go for 5 population as quickly as possible. Why 5? Because it usually, most of the time at the very least, is the magic number for me. That's when I can go for full-on stalwart production, when I can make 1 stalwart per turn, more or less. So Guaran spawned. We are playing with minor factions set to difficulty hard, which means that they will start spawning on turn 5 and they will also start attacking you very quickly, which is something you need to be aware of. Another faction, Eyeless Ones. They have been recently added in this patch, in fact. They are pretty cute little fellas, fairly interesting. Their units are purely support units that heal. As you can see, they have 2 healing abilities. One is a straight up heal, similar to the one that the Draken Heroes have. The other healing ability is the Healing Halo, which heals all the units adjacent to the Sisters. So they are a little bit like combination of the Draken Heroes and the Broken Lords Dust Bishops. However, I do prefer Dust Bishops in our particular situation, because Dust Bishops can also deal damage. Those guys only heal, they do not deal damage while healing, and additionally, they do not heal by a ton. They heal by the amount of damage they deal, which is 20, which is still pretty nice, but I would rather have a damaging unit instead of a unit that can heal me for 20 most of the time. Assimilation effect, however, is really good, because extra 5 happiness for every village can be okay, can be effing amazing depending on the amount of villages that you can control. Either way, Islands Ones, a very cool faction to see and a very cool faction to be able to interact with. In fact, I'm gonna get a quest from them on the next turn because I'll have the access to Language Square. Then I'll head back north to pacify this village and kill the Guaran that spawned, and then I'll head to the east like promised. Can I move some more population around? No, I cannot if I want to have the Founders Memorial as quickly as possible. It is possible, I'll still gain it in 2 turns because I'll have Mill Foundry on the next turn. Regardless though, I do need to have as much industry as humanly possible. So let's go ahead and finish this turn. Gaining an okay amount of dust per turn, it's not anything to write home about, but it is still satisfying, at least to me at this particular point in time. The Guaran are gone, which is annoying because I'll need to find them and chase them down and kill them. But this can wait. Firstly, let's parley with this guy. Return this village with an army that contains a minimum of 3 manufacturing units for 80,000 pacification. I can stop bothering about those guys now because this quest is not very good, and because I'll not be settling in this region anytime soon, I don't have to worry about completing this quest. Let's try and say this again. I cannot pronounce this word. The reward is just quite simply not worth it in my eyes. Alright, so first things first, what do you need to do? Well, if I were to settle in a different territory, I would obviously go to my seller and equip him with improved movement so that he would move to this other region faster. Alright, seems legit. One thing though, if at all possible, I want to never ever create any settlers in this game. At all. The strategy I am using, I called Connect and Conquer. Obviously it's a joke made based on the Divide and Conquer strategy, but my Connect and Conquer strategy is much simpler. What I would need is a very big road network connection. What I do is I move from region A to region B occupied by the enemy. I conquer region B, move to region C occupied by enemy, backed off by 2 regions of mine that are connected, so I can move in reinforcements from region A to region C in no time. I conquer region C, I go to nearby region D, and I can connect it still with the roads that I created, so region A can still provide me with reinforcements in a very fast amount of time. Or rather, not using a lot of time, you know what I mean, which is fairly good. I like this, it has been working out well for me so far. It's best if you spawn next to endless AI. If you don't, you tend to be in a little bit more trouble, because you need to attack ASAP. Time is of the absolute essence, because this tactic I'm showing you is going to fail if you cannot attack the enemy immediately, or at least fairly close. Like I said, by 10:30 I expect to have at least 1 enemy city conquered and possibly even 1 entire player eliminated based on who I meet first and how much resistance this player is going to gather. Now this patch has buffed the enemy AI by quite a big deal. The enemy AI is much smarter, especially when it comes to military. Not only in the battle screen AI makes smarter choices, but it also makes sure to defend its capital very, very well. So if you expect me to snap anything, I will not be able to do just that. Alrighty then. As you can see, I'm not quite able to create a stalwart per 10, but I can start working on it, which is exactly what I will do. How much industry I need? Well, I need a little bit more. As you can see, they cost 42 industry in order to make them each 10. Why am I using this particular setup instead of sword and shield? Well, shield gives you access to block, which gives you extra 2 defense when attacked, and the shield gives you also extra 4 defense. Alternatively, I can go for this sword, which as you can see gives me a lot more attack than the average sword, a little bit more defense as well, and more damage, and infantry slayer too. Which means that this guy can actually potentially even hit an enemy as opposed to a stalwart with a shield. You also have more or less the same amount of defense because the sword gives you more defense. And additionally, it's actually very important, you have infantry slayer too. Most of the factions in the game start off with a unit that is an infantry unit. There are some exceptions that use different type of unit, like let's say wild walkers with the ranged units. But most factions in the game start with access to infantry units only, which means that infantry slayer is an essential early game ability that you do need to have in order to increase your chances to kill people. I swear I had some necrophages nearby, which is great. Necrophages are very easy to rush. Much easier than many people expect, but necrophages are your primary target for rushing, and I do intend to rush, as you may have guessed already. Alright, in order to pacify those guys, I need to give them 10 die. Now, I do have potential to get die generation, but alternatively, I can attack them or bribe them. Because always, in a certain region, there is only a single village of a minor faction, I'm just going to go ahead and attack those guys. There's only 2 of them in this village, so I can't kill them, especially with reinforcements from my city, and I will not have to worry about them. Sure, I will not be able to pacify them, but 10 die for pacification will take forever, and then 134 dust to kill those guys would also be a little bit too much for the effort. I'd much rather just kill them like so. I'm going to go into auto battle, because this battle is not worth our time. Guys are dead, hero took all the damage, that's good. Don't care about that too much. Now, hold on a second, I need to pause the video for a second. Okay, I'm sorry for this. Now, what happened is I destroyed this village. It is fairly annoying. Usually when possible as Brocolords, you want to be able to capture the village as soon as possible, so that you immediately gain the extra 1 population in your city for free, which is pretty good. This extra population does not count towards the cost of your population in your city when you buy it out, which makes this a fairly important and powerful improvement. Now I have to pay for it. It costs quite a bit of industry, 60. Might not sound like a big deal, but this is extra industry I would rather spend on making more stalwarts, because I do need a ton of those guys. So it is fairly annoying, nothing to be too sad or crazy about, but it is something I would rather usually avoid. However, this time purely because this location is fairly annoying, I mean it's far away from where I want to go, and the quest they gave me was also a pretty bad one, I decided that it is worthwhile to destroy this village and then rebuild it. Usually though, I would strongly encourage you to instead just truly capture it, pacify it via some peaceful means, and then capture and rebuild it. Alright, I only need 2 more stalwarts to fill up my army in here, so I'm only going to make 2, then create the Guaran village, and then make more stalwarts. Seems like a pretty okay choice. Let's go ahead and end this turn. I really need to take a sip of some kind of drink, but I have no more drinks next to me. Makes me a little bit annoyed. But I will not stop recording just yet. So, Guaran looks like they're looking for some kind of revenge. It's okay, because they're gonna get death instead, because they have no chance to stand against the might of a hero, paired up with additional stalwarts in here as well. I'm going to auto battle, hero is going to take some more damage, and actually it's mostly militia, so this is great. This auto battle actually worked completely in my favor, otherwise my stalwarts would have taken damage, my militia would not have taken damage, and my hero would have taken more damage. So auto battle is really in your favor sometimes if you use it in an early game. Later on it gets fairly annoying and you should stop using it, but in early game use it as much as you can. Alright, I'll keep leveling my hero in a way that makes him a better governor. Like I said, this is what I want and what I need. I will work on the Guaran village because I will need it to make stalwarts more... I mean, I can make stalwarts age in every 10 right now. And I need to get as many of them as possible right now as well. So I'm kind of salty I actually spent some industry on repairing this Guaran village. Because I could have had more stalwarts faster. But I can still get them relatively quickly. In 5 turns I'll have another full army of stalwarts. This is good. I shouldn't be able to move any population anywhere. Actually, it looks like I can because of reasons. And I'll still gain stalwarts in 5 turns. I mean a new army. And I gain a little bit more dust this way. More than this, however, I think I will need some science. Because in early game, usually you have some problems with science. At the same time, my region does have a little bit of science in it already. And I don't care too much about it. I would rather have even more dust that I can use to heal my units, heal my hero, buy out some things if necessary, or I would rather not buy out anything really. I'll make a decision if I want more science right now, in fact, because I need to get the mercenary market. It's very important to get, just so that you know what kind of heroes are over there and that you know if you want to grab them. Additionally, in fact, firstly, let's go ahead and grab Search Party. Reason being, you're gonna be not able to get any heroes anytime soon still, even if you rush for Mercenary Market, and this is the only reason why you would want to get it. However, Search Party is very important for Broken Lords. You need those ruins to pay out, so that you can pay the bills. And this is a very nice upgrade again, because you do not need to construct it in your capital, in which you need to be creating those stalwarts quite badly. So as such, let's do it like so, thank you. As such, I do like Search Party quite a bit on Broken Lords, but as you can see, it costs quite a lot of time to finish, so I'm going to move my population to science production, saved in 2 turns on Search Party. That's pretty good. Empire Plan Development. Unit cost reduction is what you need quite badly, because as you can see, you will need a lot of stalwarts in order to rush any AI. And like I said, from my experience, 2, maybe 3 armies with 2 heroes are the bare minimum of what you need to conquer an endless AI city in early game. And when you have this kind of army, you should be able to do this. It will be a fairly close fight, but with the dust, with the ability to heal your units using dust, you should be able to do this. Alright, I can wait 2 turns for Search Party to finish and then search those ruins, but because I need to keep on moving, I need to discover those ruins and keep on moving in that general direction, I think I will not do that. Although, let me tell you what I will do. I think I will ignore those ruins completely. Sure, they'll unlock archaeologists for me, which lowers the cost of tier 1 technologies for Broken Lords, but then what do you gain next? You need to gather 100 dust and donate it to the ruins, which is 100 dust lost that you could have spent on a hero. You gain some pretty small rewards for this, all things considered. The archaeologist, I mean. And then your next quest is to get 8 and then 11 or 12, I don't remember now, technologies from Era 1. None of those give you particularly good rewards. Afterwards, sure, you will gain good rewards, but only afterwards. Right now I don't have time for this. Either way, I don't have time to wait for those temple ruins either, I don't think. I'm in the Search Party, so I'm gonna go ahead and explore those ruins right away. 10 die! Pretty good, because I'll be needing to use all of my influence most likely. Let's go ahead and search those ruins. Within 5 turns, I need to search for something at those turns. Do I need to do this with a hero? No, I can do this with an army as well. That's good. I'll send in a single stalwart in there, and I'll be able to do this within 5 turns. Pretty good. Meanwhile, I'll continue moving along, discovering what's inside my own territory. It's very important that you know what is there, because if there's like some strategic or luxury resource, you need to be able to mine it out if you will gain the ability to do so, obviously. Alrighty then, I can end the turn. As you can see, I'm not even rushing for public library just yet, because it is just so very important to have your double army in already. I will not be able to attack the enemy city without 3 armies, but I can start besieging an enemy city with just 2 armies, which is going to slow down the AI quite considerably, which is important. I got the break wall, which as you can see is a shield, which, you know, it's not about shield, but you need titanium to equip it, of which I have none. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I cannot do much with that, I'm afraid. And I need to pay for this army's maintenance, which is again not amazing, but hey, it was worth a try. We'll discard some more minor factions. It's the Galadrius. Galadriels are very good for you to pacify when you're Broken Lords, because as Broken Lords what you're missing is attack and damage. Stalwarts are amazing when it comes to surviving, pretty bad when it comes to dealing damage, so you need to increase those stats as much as possible, because you will be mostly using Stalwarts, trust me, in early game, and this is the only game that matters. In fact, you can win the game in early game if you're lucky enough and spawn right next to Endless AI. I, as you can see, have not been this lucky. I did not spawn next to Endless AI, as such I cannot rush him down immediately. I can only hope that I find one relatively quickly though. By all accounts I should be able to do so, but you never know, I may be unlucky, I may be looking in the wrong regions, we will see what happens. I do sincerely hope I can find one fairly quickly though. Alright, this army is almost ready to march. Let's make sure that this guy can actually enter the town, like so I don't have to pay for him for additional 10. Next then I'll create this army which I'll send down south, which will be pretty great, and then I'll continue walking on those structures. Fairly nice, I would say. Mercenary market in 5 turns, let's keep it going this way. Although I could activate the luxury resource for extra 5 happiness, which would... 65, is that enough to make you happy? Maybe, I don't remember, but extra influence is fairly important because, again, better empire plan, and I'll need a lot of influence because I'll need to assimilate factions and also declare war on other empires too. So I'll go ahead and do that, and this indeed put my empire at happy status, meaning that I can move some of my population away from industry production into other things, like I could go for even more influence, so I can gain 6 influence per 10. Pretty crazy, I actually kinda like it, because like I said, I would need to use this influence quite badly, so let's go ahead and start making the extra influence. Or alternatively, I can walk a little bit more crazily on the extra dust, because as you can see, my empire is happy, giving me extra empire-wide dust. Not a lot of it, but still some extra dust is nice nevertheless. Although mercenary market, I don't want to wait too long to get it, so I think walking like this does give me less dust by 10, but regardless, it's going to be a very nice increasement, and I will not have to worry about influence ever again, looks like. Fairly nice. Let's go ahead and talk to this village. Pali, give us a nice quest. Bring back 10 glass to just to pacify them. That is the opposite of what I want, so let's go ahead. In fact, I think I will complete my faction quest, just because I cannot seem to be able to find any AI, which is a very, very annoying thing indeed. By 10-13 you're expected to find some kind of somebody that you can start, you know, annoying if at all possible, preparing the siege, moving your forces in the right direction at the very least maybe. I have not discovered anybody. Oh, hi there! Now, those guys could be fairly tricky. I do mean that sincerely, because other mages are the best rushers in the game. There's not a single other faction in this game that is better at rushing the enemy down and killing them. In my experience, I can win a game on Endless, one-on-one game, by 10-20. I do mean it. I mean, one-on-one it's not very impressive, but I can win a serious game, I mean on Endless difficulty of course, by serious I mean with a normal amount of players, within 50 turns easily, as other mages. They are very, very good when rushing the enemy down. So this is kinda bad, because they are scary. At the same time, it is also kinda good, because they are here with a hero, and I can see their region. So their city is there, and I can get to it. Now, there is a little bit of a problem. I need to create a road connection to their city, badly, which means that I will actually have to expand this region. This region, for what it's worth, is not a bad region. There's a river, there is Mihondria, for extra happiness, there's also some glass steel, for extra glass steel. Not bad, not bad. How much dust is there though? And industry? Ah, there's actually a decent amount of both. Some science in here too. Not gonna lie, I thought this region is going to be a worse one. I might have to expand here. If worse things could happen. Anyway, let's parley with this village. Pacification for 10 spices and 10 moonleaf. Those guys are clearly nuts. But for some reason, somebody spawned for this odd mages and they lost their units and only their hero is alive, so you know. I'm a nasty little player, I'm gonna kill your hero. Now those guys are not gonna love me for this, sure, but you cannot resist killing an enemy hero. It's a pretty big deal. I forgot to heal up my own hero, which is a little bit of an annoyance, But regardless, I should be able to absolutely devastate the enemy, because he's got only one unit. Although, if AI is any smart, he will move backwards, back into a corner to try and defend. So what I want to do is prevent him from doing that. She's got free range, so if she moves over here to this tile, she will be able to attack somebody. But if I move too close, she will be able to stand where she is. So I'll move to this tile, try to lure her out a little bit. She'll be in a forest, which is a little bit annoying, but hey, what can you do? You move to this tile, you move to this tile. You move to this tile to provide morale bonus for other people, and this should be good enough. So let's move like so. Hopefully yes, she did move out, so I can have a little bit of an easier time accessing her. I did get slowed down. That is not what I wanted to happen by any stretch of the imagination, because now my hero will not be able to attack the enemy hero on the next turn, which is bad, because the enemy hero might back out now on the next turn, which is quite sincerely a horrible thing indeed. Yes, well, it did happen already, so it's not like I can do anything but cry about it now. So anyway, this guy has their turn last, so you will just attack like so. You walk to this tile, and you desire a second line. So actually, you walk to this tile, you walk to this tile, you attack like so, and you walk to this tile if you can. Hopefully the enemy hero will not back out. He did not. She's too tempted to attack my main hero, who of course died. But this is fine. My hero will come back with 1 HP at the end of this combat. What I want to do is to be able to kill the enemy hero. As you can see, that's another change added in this patch. There are now attacks as has odds, and I've been 4 times with 25% chance to miss. I missed 4 times. Dear RNG, go and F yourself if you can, please. That would be greatly appreciated, thank you very much. Alright, I'll keep attacking with 75% chance to deal half damage, which apparently means that I cannot deal any damage whatsoever, but the enemy hero was dumb enough to buff herself for extra damage rather than to do anything useful. So my units took no damage, my hero took some damage and died, but is now back, and the enemy hero is dead. By all means, I would call this a successful endeavor. So there is that. Let's go ahead and keep on moving to this ruin over there. Do I want to destroy this Devil's Village? Well, it depends. Is there other more Devil's Village in this region? Looks like there might not be. So I'll let those devils attack me, because they surely will. And I'll kill them the hard way, and then I'll probably attack and kill this village as well. Do I want to kill, heal, not kill my hero? Not necessarily, no. And good day, fellow sufferer. You might be suffering quite badly from the sword that is within your stomach. Don't worry though, the pain will go away eventually. Oh no, I forgot to start moving my army down south. Retardedness. It's the only thing that can stop my run from, going well. It's also because I'm a little bit tired today, I'm afraid, so this is not ideal, but hey, it happens. Regardless, I'm going to try and keep on moving. Why does my unit want to move in such a direction rather than just through this tundra grass? I know there is some terrain difficulty here, but there is no cliff over here. It's a little bit strange. Regardless, you move through here. I'm going to continue making as many stalwarts as I possibly can. I could buy out more population, which in fact I will, because it will, be a very nice return on investment fairly quickly. I can get a mercenary market 110, which I would gladly gain. I can get even more influence, but I don't need that, to be quite frankly honest with you. Do I want to auto-battle this? Let's see how well auto-battle fares, but I think I would much rather actually play this in manual battle. Well, let's have a quick look. Yeah, it went fairly well. I think I'm not going to reload and do a manual battle. I wouldn't do so regardless, but it's good to know that auto-battle works like it always did. So, let's go ahead and search this ruin. It's going to give me another quest to give it 100 dust. What it did give me is a lot of titanium, which I can use to give my hero the break wall. Unfortunately though, he needs to be in my territory for that to happen, which is a little bit of a bummer. So let's move ahead and discover what is within those ruins, because I want to see what is in there. Enemy territory is there, that's good. I know where the enemy city is, so I know the most important thing, and I have an option now. I can expand to this territory to create a road connection or this territory to create a road connection. In both cases though, I don't need to do so yet because I don't even have the technology just yet. Regardless, things look like they are going quite well for me. Let's understand, this videocast has been long enough. I introduced to you my overall plans for this game and my strategy. As you can see, I'm going very heavily into the offense and I'm going to try my best to, besiege the enemy city as quickly as possible and make sure that it is indeed starving. Regardless, it was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Spammer. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you online.